Welcome to All Things Console. I'm Phoebe, and then this is everything what Dee Dee has. And hi, welcome to All Things Console. I'm Phoebe, and this is Dee Dee.
I am Dee Dee.
And he's my Uncle Dee Dee, and
I am her Uncle Dee Dee.
yes, and then I love him so much.
I love her too.
And he's my awesome Uncle Dee Dee.
Don't I feel special? Like she said, welcome to All Things Console. I'm JD and this is Phoebe. And Phoebe wanted to be in this video today, and if you can say no to that face, then there is something very deeply wrong with you. But this has been a pretty exciting couple of days collecting. I was able to pick up somebody's entire NES and Super Nintendo collection all at the same time. I've decided to break that down into two different videos just because there is a lot to show. So, first things first, let's start with the console. It is your average Super Nintendo console. I believe it is a 1993 because of the serial numbers. And as Phoebe likes to describe, it is the icky console. It is the icky console because it has that dingy yellow color that is so lovely that you get after about 10 or 20 years of a fire retardant compound being put into the plastic. I'm sure they didn't know that was going to happen. But to add on top of that, we have permadirt. Permadirt because where I got the console, it was kept in a garage / game room where they played their games. They also played cards. There was a wood burning stove out there, and they also liked to smoke cigarettes. So there is a lot going on. And if you add that with where we are geographically located, it is in a rural area. There's a lot of farming going on, and if you know anything about living there, you'll know that your house is dusty all of the time. So if you have consoles and electronics or space, shelves, anything, you're dusting 2 or 3 times a day. And if you don't keep up with it for 20 years, you're going to get permadirt. And so what I'm going to do is a separate video trying a few of the different methods to get the yellowing off of it. We're going to put some here, some there, blah, 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 and see what works best, and then do the whole console that way. And if not, if I can't bring it out, I'm going to put a custom paint job on it. That is another thing that I like to do with these machines, is put custom paint jobs on them, or make them a little different somehow. I don't really mod them too much, but that's what we'll end up doing. And with the console came 2 Super Nintendo controllers. One in pretty good shape. Pretty good shape.
Yeah, it
The
is.
second is something that really, really bothers me, and I have always said this, and I was doing this even when I was a kid, was taking care of my controllers, because if you wind them too tight and leave them that way, you will pull the cord and its sheathing away from the controller. So this one, not only is the sheathing pulled off, but the controller doesn't work right either. I'm going to repair it. I'm going to put a new wire and plug and everything in it and clean it all up. But if you're doing this, wrapping the cords around your controllers really tight, stop! This is what happens. Stop! Alright.
You don't do it anymore.
Moving on. And of course, the important thing, the games. When it comes down to the games, I actually got a few that had the boxes with them. They're in different degrees of destroyed, but it's always exciting to get them. It's not a necessity for me. But either way, they're still pretty cool to have. I love the artwork. I like having it around. In some cases, it does raise the value considerably, but for the ones that we did get in box, we're keeping anyway, so not going to be much of a return on that, is there?
Yeah.
The first one to note is going to be Super Mario All-Stars. If you know anything about that game, it is the first 3 classic NES Super Mario Brothers games, all in one for the Super NES console. It came complete in box. Game itself is in pretty good condition. It's got a little bit of dirt on it, which we're gonna take care of that.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because the cartridges were kept in one drawer, the boxes folded and kept in another. And it's not in too bad a shape. It's got some nicks and dings on the corner, but come on, that's to be expected after that long. I think it's in great shape.
Yeah.
It came with the manual, which is always awesome to have. And the only problem was the styrofoam that it was packaged with was pretty well destroyed. No biggie, we got rid of that. That's definitely replaceable. Alright, moving on. Another cool thing. We've got all 3 Donkey Kong Country games, which is Phoebe's favorite stuff. Donkey Kong, she loves playing the NES version. Diddy Kong Racing is one of her favorite things by far, and then Donkey Kong 64. Well, we got 2 of the boxes for those games too. We got the box for Donkey Kong Country 2. It's a little beat up, a little more so, and it is it's still going to make for pretty good artwork, so we're not going to worry too much about that. But it did also have the manual. It looks like it had been left out and maybe come into contact with some moisture, so that cover page is a little ripply. Once again, not a big deal to me. Do not care at all. The game works fine. And there's Donkey Kong Country 2. Unfortunately, 1 and 2 have a little bit of nicotine stain on them, it looks like. That's reversible, but we know better now, of course, and especially even from the 90s, the early 90s, where smoking wasn't considered as bad as it is today. You know, people didn't really think about that sort of thing, so don't smoke around your games. And then we also got the box for Donkey Kong Country 3, which is almost completely and entirely destroyed. Wasn't as well kept. It actually ended up being under a dresser when I moved all the stuff out to get to all the games that I was buying. It was underneath all that, and it had been trampled, and I mean, that's 20 years of stuff there. So it's got a pretty big gash at the bottom. The artwork's still there. That's all I care about. So no biggie. Still pretty neat to have. All right, and there's also another important set of games, which is also some of Phoebe's favorite.
Yeah.
Super Mario World. Now, not only did we get 1, but we got 2 copies of Super Mario World. One of them is the one that you could tell spent a lot of time in the console. It has matching permadirt, and it's got a little nick here on the label. So we're going to clean that up real well, and we're going to get 1 copy of this game out, because we only need 1, don't we?
Yeah.
Or do we need to?
We don't need to. We only need 1.
We only need 1?
Yeah.
But what happens?
I choose 2.
If it was up to her, we'd keep every single game, even one she doesn't play.
Yep.
So, you gotta have Super Mario World. The song is playing in my head right now as I'm telling you about the game. And actually, I think this is what we're gonna play after the video, isn't it? Or are we gonna play Donkey Kong Country? We're already fired up.
Let's play Donkey Kong first.
Okay, we're gonna play Donkey Kong first,
Yeah.
as I would expect. Alright, so we got 2 more games along with the console. And those are a Signature Series copy of Yoshi's Island. And, you know, I'm used to seeing signed games. I'm actually pretty grateful that it's not on the label. But, you know, this was our identification. If you're going to swap with your friends, you're going to need to put your name on the cartridge to let them know whose it is. I'm just, like I said, very grateful it wasn't across the label. Other than that, it is a little worn out. It looks like this one was kept a little bit more rough than the others. And since I know the lady that I bought the console from, I can tell already they didn't originally own this game. It definitely came from somewhere else. So we're going to get that all cleaned up, and that is going to be another one that is going to see a new home. Now, last but certainly least is a copy of Vegas Stakes. Now, when I bought the console and the games, the lady told me that this was one of her favorite games. She had a lot of good times with it. Now, I want you to know that, you know, I definitely made sure that she was ready to part with this stuff. You know, she called me, so it wasn't like I was stealing some old lady's games. She told me that this was a really good time, that she enjoyed playing cards, she enjoyed playing the blackjack, as I would expect. You know, I know the woman, and I know that she likes to get into that sort of thing. So, for her sake, I think I'm going to hold on to the game. You know, just in case she ever wants to come up to the house and play. So we're going to keep a hold of this for now. And as an added bonus to the collection, we also got some game guides, which I also like to collect. Brings back a lot of nostalgic memories for me. Back in those days, we didn't have access to the internet, and if somebody did, especially in a rural area, it was horrible. I mean, so slow. So if you could find a web page with the things that you needed to find out, chances are it would be next weekend before you actually got to look at it. We would depend on things like Super Mario World Game Secrets to get neat little tips and tricks about all of the games. I think it was pretty much a mainstay with anytime I bought a new game, I would try to find an article in one of the magazines like Nintendo Power that had something that I could use to get through the game, or I would go out and buy one of these. And even back then, you know, it's a $15 book, but it covers everything. So we got the Super Mario one. We're going to read that and we're going to go through it. That's what I'm going to use to get through that, because it's been so long since I've played all the way through Super Mario World. I'm excited. And then we get tips and tricks for Donkey Kong Country. Same kind of deal. It's the unauthorized edition, which means it's not licensed by Nintendo. And there are lots of neat little tips and tricks in this book. You know what this is. That's good potty material. You could read that on the potty. Huh?
Why would you say that in the middle of the video?
No. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have the official Donkey Kong Country Guide by Nintendo. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. It's beat up and banged up, but I wouldn't expect it any other way. It probably got used a lot. It's going to get used again. And I thought it was neat because you have Donkey Kong real big on the cover there. And if you flip it around back, you have Donkey Kong's butt. With all of the information and credits. Like a Donkey Kong butt?
Yeah, don't
Yes, the
show
Donkey
that.
Kong butt.
Don't show that.
Alright, so it's got plenty of color pages in it. It was really interesting to look through, brought back a lot of memories for me. And that's what a lot of this is about. You know, I love these games and consoles, and, you know, you get that warm fuzzy feeling whenever you rediscover it. And I love sharing that with Phoebe, especially, because she is just getting started in the gaming world. She's rocking out Donkey Kong and Super Nintendo. She's having a good time, and being able to let her play games like I used to play makes me feel good. And yeah, I don't think that's selfish. You get to play games, right?
Yeah.
So, not, you know, she does play, you know, on the Xbox One, and she messes around on the tablet quite a bit. But she'll come and ask to use, you know, the CRT TVs to play Super Mario Brothers or Duck Hunt or Donkey Kong or one of the many other games she likes to play. And that also, you know, being a part of that with her making new memories playing these games makes it that much better. It's a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And, you know, the cost of a little bit of plastic, if that's what it takes, that's what we're going to do. So I would like to say thank you for stopping by the channel, checking out one of the most important parts of my collection this year, and hanging out with me and Phoebe. And I hope to see you on the upcoming videos. I'm going to be collecting like crazy. We're going to keep pumping them out and playing. And that's it. Do you want to say bye?
Bye-bye. Have fun.
Bye-bye. Have fun.
I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time.